Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of For What It's Nerd. Today, we are discussing two trailers, both the Fantastic Four and Jurassic World Rebirth. Let's start with Fantastic Four. This is a movie I've been waiting for forever. Like, before it was even announced, I was hoping for a new Fantastic Four movie because of the Fox merger. And, so this has been a long time coming for me. And to see a trailer now and to know it's coming this year is so exciting on so many levels. And I think the trailer only enhanced that. The retro futuristic vibe was really strong, and it made it clear that this is not the same Earth we're used to. At least that's how I perceive it. I think that's been kind of suggested throughout the rumors as well. It also makes sense because Galactus is, of course, the big bad of this movie, or at least one of the big bads. And because of that, I think what you're going to see is this world, and this has kind of been rumored as well, destroyed by the end of it, and the Fantastic Four ending up in our universe by some means. Now, there are other rumors going around about Franklin Richards being in, etc. I'm not really going to go into too much of the rumors apart from what kind of relates to the trailer as we've seen it. And I like the outfits look amazing. The cinematography looks great. The retro futuristic vibe, like I said, is spot on. It makes it feel alternate without also it feels something we know, but also something we don't. And I think that's what's really nice about it. It feels Fallout in that way, like the Fallout series / the Fallout games, of course. And I think that works for this. It feels like kind of 60s, but like they're more advanced because probably of Reed's doing, right? Reed has learned a lot and taught a lot to this world that they're living in. So really think this is a cool idea. I think it's gonna actually do really well as a movie. I think you'll find a lot of people who haven't really been going to superhero movies for a while will take this one solo because it kind of is a solo movie in a way, right? It's not really connected to anything else apart from probably the end credit scene, I'm probably going to guess. And I think that's going to bring people in a big way and kind of get people reinvested in the MCU. It looks like it's going to be a good year for that in general as well with the Thunderbolts. It's kind of a new concept. Wow, I just choked on my own words. It's fine. I just inhaled. I'm too excited. But yeah, so I think it looks great. Now, a lot of people are concerned about the thing. Let's talk about that. I think the voice personally for me is a bit of a throw off. I think I'm used to a deeper voice for the thing. I don't think it's like a deal breaker. I get where they're kind of going with it, make it more humanized, make it more of the Evan. Is it Evan? I think it's Evan. Evan Moss Bacharach. Is that the name? I think it is. The actor's performance, right? It's more about his performance than kind of putting too much like the distortion on that. I think you can kind of take away an actor's performance with that sometimes. I think in this version, if they're trying to go for like Ben is human apart from his looks, I think that kind of works for that a little bit more. And someone made a really good point online. I couldn't attribute it to the person, but it's really going to hit more for his partner Alicia, who is blind, and so if she hears him as he is, but he obviously doesn't look the way he looked, doesn't feel the way he felt, then that's going to be a little bit more tragic if they go down that route. Or slash also uplifting in a way if she kind of like has those feelings of like I can still hear that you're you. So there's a cool aspect there I think to kind of explore. Now as well, people have discussed the thing's looks. Personally, I think that this is a brave thing for the Marvel to do. They've done the comic accurate look, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Personally, I would have liked a little bit more closely to it to look a little bit more closely to the Fantastic Four, not the Fan Four stick, but the one before that with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans, because I think that one was a little bit more. It felt more realistic is the wrong word in this instance, but it felt more not grounded. Grounded is the wrong word as well, but it felt more tangible. I guess I think this doesn't look as tangible to me personally in the actual setting of the universe. Like that one clip where you see him in the trench coat, which obviously love the trench coat and the hat. It looks a little too. It doesn't look like it's part of the rest of the world at that point. Now, again, that can change, but I do think it's really commendable that they went with the comic book accurate look, and I do think that I like that. I just think it needs a little bit of touching up for me. I think the colors are a little bit off for me versus the rest of the world. That this one looks very bright, very like there's that blue car that goes by in one of the clips, which I'm assuming is going to be some kind of fantastic car in some way or another. And that looks so vibrant, and the colours of the suits are so vibrant, and it looks like the thing's a little washed out for me personally. I kind of like a little bit more a deeper orange. I know that sounds very nitpicky as a subject for, you know, something that otherwise is good, but I think that's the reason, right? I personally looked at this trailer and I didn't have any issues. I didn't have, Johnny looks great, the flames look great on the Human Torch. Sue's powers are a lot more in depth than they're typically done as. They're usually done as blue spheres and blue, shields, so to speak, and this time they're kind of going for this kind of more, even the way she's handling the powers is a little bit more of like a feeling to those powers being the light spectrum. So I think that's really cool in and of itself. We haven't seen, and this is what I think is very interesting and maybe telling, maybe they're working on those scenes still, but we haven't seen Pedro as Mr. Fantastic do the ye old stretchiness. So I'm wondering if they're trying to keep that either under wraps to kind of like show off how well they've done it later, or they're really struggling with it. Because, I think that's the reason they changed Miss Marvel in the MCU to be the purple powers, so that they could get away with a little bit less of a scenario where it didn't look right. Equally, interestingly, Pedro's suit in the movie is very much, I think, made in a way that's going to allow for the fabric to cover and again with the thing as well, because there's a lot of CGI in this movie. If you've got to think about it, that these characters are very CGI heavy. Just by nature, right? So I think you're going to see the suits for Thing and Mr. Fantastic be used a lot more when they're doing their thing, because it means that, like, for example, the Thing has a shirt on in this movie, and because I think it's easier to animate the fabric than it is to do all the rock all over on again and again and again. So, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it can be done right, and it's not like the Thing hasn't worn full outfits before. So, yeah, I really, really think the movie's coming together well. The actors look like they really enjoyed themselves, which is always a win. On another level, and apart from that, I can't say too much right now. We haven't really got like a super big idea of the plot besides them kind of reintroducing the Fantastic Four as characters. You've got to remember that it's been a while since a Fantastic Four movie, and it's been literally since the beginning of time since a good Fantastic Four movie. There's not been one, so this has got to kind of smash all those out the water, and it's going to be a busy month as well. You've got to remember Jurassic World is coming out the same month, and so is Superman. So it's going to be a great month for nerds, but it's going to be like for those general populace, they're going to have to pick a movie. They're going to pick one, and I don't know if it might not be Fantastic Four. I think Fantastic Four might be the one that I think I personally want it to succeed more than the others, but I think it's the least brand, right? If you think like, what does the general populace know? Do they know the Fantastic Four? Do they know Superman? Or do they know Jurassic Park / World? It's Fantastic Four who are the least, isn't it? Sadly, that's the frustration, but it's true. But I think you're going to get a lot of nostalgia audience in with the Fantastic Four. Like I did at work, for example, show a colleague the trailer for the Fantastic Four because they remember watching it when they were younger. So like they were like, "Oh, you have to tell me about that movie because I will probably go and watch that." So like there is some different interest involved, but Superman has the same thing, right? And so does Jurassic Park. They're all nostalgia franchises / characters. They're all legacy characters / franchises in a way, because yes, Fantastic Four and Superman go back further than Jurassic, but like not by much, So they're all relevant in some way or another to older generations and older audiences as well. So I think you'll see a broad spectrum across all three, but yeah, I think I want Fantastic Four to succeed the most, but I don't think it's going to. I have to accept that. I don't think it's going to do badly. Let me just clarify that. I do not think it's going to be a badly received movie. I think people are going to love it. I think they're going to be I'm hoping people are going to love it, but I'm really scared that it's probably going to be the least of the three. Oppositely, Jurassic World. Now the rebirth is quite real because they're trying to do a whole new storyline, and this time they're kind of basing it around the idea of finding a cure through the way of the dinosaurs, and they're going back sort of more to the base roots of the franchise. They're going back to one of the islands where there was testing done for the original dinosaurs, and basically the idea is that there are mutated dinosaurs, there are failed dinosaurs, as well as some that have been living on this island from the beginning. So it's kind of taking it back to its roots whilst also understanding and accepting that the other movies kind of happened. I don't think I could really speak towards the acting in this movie as yet, because I don't think it gave that much away in the trailers, but I do think the movie looked very stunning. The shots were all really well done. The dinosaurs look in my opinion, more believable than ever. And, we're going back to some of those kind of base dinosaurs. We're not going for all those kind of more crazy things. Like, yes, there is this kind of mutated dinosaur that's meant to be in this movie. And I think that's okay because they've kind of done that before. And I think, you're messing with DNA and you're kind of going back to the roots where they messed with the DNA. Like, obviously there was going to be a botched dinosaur in somewhere. Now, there are some plot holes people have been saying online, how all these dinosaurs live for so long. Wouldn't an apex predator take those all out? And yeah, there's some conceivable plot holes there already. But the thing is, this is the Jurassic World franchise. The conceivable plot hole is that they brought dinosaurs back in this way. Like, that's the big thing from the start. You have to suspend disbelief a lot with the Jurassic World franchise. It's very much like your Doctor Who franchise. I say this all the time with Doctor Who. Never try and put logic to the Doctor Who franchise because it will never ever make sense. And even when you do try and make sense of it, it won't. So, and then they retcon it anyway. So, like, just kind of, I think Jurassic World is kind of coming to the same point, and that's okay. I think sometimes you can go with bombastic, and I think sometimes it works. I'm very excited to see Scarlett Johansson in something that's sort of relatively bigger again, as well as seeing more of Jonathan Bailey after Wicked's success last year, and Mahershala Ali, which I actually haven't seen Mahershala Ali in anything for a while, but obviously I'm very excited to see him in this and kind of see where he's at going into, hopefully, when that actually finally releases, Blade. So I think it's going to be a really good month. Is it July? I think it's July, right? July. Yeah. June, July. Yeah. I always get June and July mixed up. But there's going to be like 3 good movies coming out. Of course, Superman we've talked about previously. We did an extra special video on that because it came out kind of out of the blue. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how these 2 movies pan out. I will probably do an episode on each of those as they come out and really kind of dissect them. And hopefully they're all good. I want them all to be good. The thing is, we've had a few years where kind of cinema has kind of waned again, I feel like. And I think a lot of the issue is that we're still kind of dealing with the effects of COVID as regards cinema. Yes, it's 5 years on, nearly there or thereabouts. But the thing is that a lot of time within that has been taken up by strikes, has been taken up by discussions around AI, has been taken up by this, taken up by that. And what's happened is there's been a lot of money grabbing. Look at Warner Brothers, for example. A lot of movies have been put, and there's still people talking about this now, like the Coyote versus Acme movie that got used as a tax write-off. The same with the Batgirl movie. There's a lot of moves being made in cinema right now to keep cinema afloat, and not always for the best intentions. Look at Moana, for example. There's a lot of that, and I think we need to get back to movies as art that, when done right, get money. Look at Sonic last year. Sonic was one of the biggest, was going to be one of the biggest flops with the first one. They changed it, they did the right thing, and then they succeeded. It's not hard to make a successful franchise if you care about what you're writing, if you care about what you're doing. People will see that even if it's not the best movie in the world. And, Wicked, I think, helped with that too. I think Wicked showed that you can make a really good movie that is about something that's already happened. Like, it's what the live action remakes are to the animations in a way. They've took something from the stage and put it into a movie, and it's actually done really well. You can do those things. People can enjoy them. It's just how you do them. And I think a lot of people could take pointers from those types of things. And so looking forward to seeing how these movies goes. Apparently Thunderbolts is getting really good testing as well. So it looks like it could be a really good year for cinema. Obviously, Captain America Brave New World comes out next week. That's going to be our next episode. There's been a few concerns about that movie, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm very excited to see Harrison Ford as Red Hulk all the same. So we'll see how that goes for sure. Until then, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of For What It's Nerd. As always, let me know below or wherever you want to let me know. And thank you for listening/watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.